words, but God, and it says what God did, or but the Lord. In this case, the Lord. They're telling the story. We are in slavery in Egypt. We were in horrible circumstances. It looked like there was no way out, but the Lord. He delivered us. He did not forget us. He is faithful, and He did not forget His promise to us. And that is something to talk about. Those are the conversations in our stories that need to be told. And our conversations need to be open and honest and real. And they need to include these kinds of stories. My wife, Michelle, is so good at telling stories in our home. And, the boys will ask, Mom, tell us a story about when you were little. Or tell us a story about when we were little. And and she can do it. She can just rattle it off. And I have to have a picture or some kind of visual prop. I have a harder time remembering this stuff. But it's so important that we do tell our stories. And those stories that we tell they've got to include our but the Lord stories of how we came to know and follow Christ. How did that happen in our own lives? Maybe you have stories in your family, you probably do, of times when things were difficult and you didn't see a way out and you didn't know what was going to happen. But the Lord was faithful, and then you can tell that story. Or maybe you're in the middle of a thing right now and you're just like, we're not sure how we're going to get through this. But we've seen God's faithful in the past, and we know He's going to be faithful. So those are the kinds of conversations that we have got to include with our families, in our homes, and with younger generations. We need each other. Older generations need younger generations. Younger generations need older generations. We need conversations and relationships. So we want to wrap up today with some conversations with each other in this room. And it might be a stretch because it's different. We don't always do this in here. But we want to invite you in just a few minutes to get together with 3 to 5 people right there around you and try to include somebody from different generations with you. And maybe it's going to be in the row in front of you or a row behind you. But there's going to be some questions that are going to show up on the screen. And we want you to have some conversations. This is a part of how the faith exchange happens, is our conversations with each other. And it's really probably not going to do it justice in the time that we have left. We'll just get started. But we hope that these conversations on these kinds of things can continue in a part of forging a durable faith. So questions are up there. You may only get to 1 or 2 of those questions. But right now, find your group of 3 to 5 and start some conversations on this faith exchange.
Okay, I hate to break into your conversation, but the youth guys were gracious. I asked them for a minute to make an important announcement with regard. I know your hearts have been broken as mine with regard to the devastation and the loss of life in the wake of the cyclone over in Myanmar. We have an opportunity as a church, because we've been involved in that region of the world for some time. We come in contact with people. We've come in contact with a missionary who has worked there for 30-some years, but in Myanmar in particular, over 15. Her name is Cindy Perry, and she has contact with some people on the ground, national Burmese or Myanmar church planters, and they have access to be able to get supplies to 20 villages that they are targeting in the Irrawaddy Delta region. And so we think it's a strategic opportunity for us to be involved by providing relief and aid. And you can understand the timeliness of our response. We hope to wire money to them on Tuesday. And so we're asking you to consider today giving to that. You have an insert in your bulletin. If you'd take that out and look, I want you to just to see, we need small gifts as well as large, starting at $2.50 and can go up to a couple thousand for a clinic for a month with medicines. Think about how far that money does go. And if you want to give today, you can write a check to Olathe Bible Church, put in the memo an item that you would like to make available. Or if you just want to give to Myanmar Relief in general. If you want to give online, go to olathebible.org, go to Myanmar Relief, and then just follow the prompts through, and you can do it that way as well. On top of that, and I know you don't need more motivation to give. You are a very compassionate church. But a group of generous givers have offered to match your funds up to $24,000. So every dollar you give becomes $2, and then it goes to work. So thank you in advance. The ushers will be at the doors on the way out to receive your gift if you are ready to give that this morning. Thanks.
All right. We have a good time doing this. Can you tell? We have a good time. Come visit us up in our office. We've got a couch. We'll sit and talk with you. Steve will pop some popcorn. And so you want to talk about teenagers, whatever you want to talk about. But I just want to encourage you guys, be careful. Don't forget the Lord.
And then also that whole, it will go well with you if you obey his commands and love God.
And we just got started, right, on talking and telling.